New, managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Introducing managing moderators. These users have the same capability as standard moderators, but in addition they can manage block words and change chat modes in live. Interesting. Thank you, YouTube. That was a pop-up message. Is anyone going to join me? Welcome to live chat. There's no one viewing, so I'm not sure if this is actually live or not. Oh no, there's one thumbs up. Hey, very boring name. Hey, Whacked Man. Hey, Addy. Hey, you've done a Marcus House intro. Marcus House always starts his videos with, hey. Hey, Heinrich. Yeah, that time of the week again. Yep, kid sports. Hey, Mike. Yeah, it takes like a minute for the chat to show up. So, which is really interesting. Let's do a test. After I count down 3, 2, 1, right? So after I do that, put Great Scott. Okay, ready? Have it typed out, ready? Have Great Scott typed out, ready? In 3, 2, 1, go! 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 seconds? Okay, that's not bad. Alright, that's not too shabby. There you go. Not too bad at all. I think I need a haircut. Mrs. EEVblog won't cut my hair anymore. Yes, I'm outdoors. Mrs. EEVblog refuses to cut my hair anymore. She did it during COVID, and back when all the hairdressers were closed, you know. So she got all the kit, you know, to cut mine and the kids' hair, and she cut the hair, and you know, she doesn't like doing it anymore. So she still did it after COVID, but she's just refusing to do it now. So I've got to go to the dodgy shopping centre one. Well, there's 2 of them there, and I swear they're a money laundering operation. In fact, there are 3 hairdressers and 2 nail salons in my tiny Norwest shopping centre. Tiny shopping centre, just one of those, you know, little, I guess you Yanks would call it mall, or whatever, like, you know, tiny little suburban mall, single level. It's got one big anchor store, which is Coles, and, you know, a little tiny food court with, you know, 4 or 5 different you know, food things in it, and it's got 3 hairdressers and or two barbers, which are run by let's just say there's a lot of guys of a certain persuasion there, with very many tattoos, and yeah. So yeah, and 2 nail salons. So I swear they're all money laundering operations. US election prediction update, please. That's a tough one. Video quality is kind of lacking. Oh, sorry, it's the thumb thing again. The camera happens to be on the exact same side as the chat, so I can't afford a rates now. Is 5 kilograms worth of electronics too much to PO box? It's not too much to PO box, but it will cost too much to post. So unless it's something extraordinary, I would encourage people not to send 5 kilos worth of stuff, because it could cost like $100+ to send to Australia. It'd be very pricey, very pricey. So as much as I appreciate the effort, it does cost a lot of money, and it's not worth it unless it's something very, very special. At least I have hair to cut. Yes, true. I don't think I'll go bald. Please make a DSO calibration video without any expensive function generator. DSO, you can't really calibrate modern scopes. It's not really a thing. How's it going? It's going all right. Hello there, kiddies. Not too. Hey, Kerry's in the house. Not too late. 70 euros, yeah. Which is like 120 Aussie bucks. Yeah, don't. Thanks, Heinrich, but don't. Don't spend that sort of coin just for the mailbag. No, it's not ocean. What you're hearing is probably I'm not sure actually, because there's no wind. I was going to say it's the wind because there's bush right in front of me. Or is there a motorway over there? Sounds more like a motorway actually. I'm not sure how close we are. Yep, and the barber probably has some gangster rap playing 110%, and no one in the shopping centre management dares to tell them to turn it down. No, it's not like that, but they have an unusual number of men in there with tattoos, and they're all of the same persuasion. They're awfully overstaffed, is what I'm saying. US election prediction. Oh, the Solar Edge inverter and LG Chem 10 kilowatt battery died. Really? Tindo Australian solar cells still going? Oh yeah? Yeah, I wanted the Tindo ones, but nobody sold them, I don't think. Oh yeah, the Tindo panels will last forever. Really? I thought Solar Edge were pretty good. Are they a micro inverter? A Solar Edge a micro inverter? I thought they were pretty good. Or does Solar Edge make regular inverters as well? I thought they made micro inverters. And so did the inverter die, or did the battery? It seems unusual that both would die. That seems weird, Gio. LG Chem battery replaced under warranty. Ah, interesting. Is that here in Australia? Oh yes, yes, because you've got the Australian solar panels. Wow. Okay. You're facing 200 millivolts D and square wave compensation issue on a Siglet 1202. Yeah, well, you can do DC offset calibration. That's in the software, but offhand, I don't know of a way, unless you have some service code or something to get in there and calibrate it. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think it's that easy. Took 1 year to get the LG battery replaced. Whoa, that's a lot of loss. That's ridiculous. Very boring name. Yes, everyone's asking me to do a DCS video. Yes, I will. I just haven't had time. I have not had time to watch his videos because I want to watch all of his original videos that make the claims, so I can, tell whether or not he did good claims or not. And then I've got to, I think he's done 3 update videos. And he did actually contact me. And he gave me his number, so I can actually contact him. But I think I can do the video without chatting to him. Maybe it's better if I don't. Maybe it's better if I don't chat to him before I do the video, lest there be any influence or something. I'll just give him, I'm probably better off initially giving my thoughts. You obviously know what I'm going to say. Like, it's complete bullshit. Like, I've had a look at like a couple of minutes of his videos, and it looks like he was very thorough with his claim, and he tested it for 2 years. And no, it's just absolute bullshit. The DCS thing is thoroughly bullshit, and they're going to lose bigly. DCS will lose bigly. So hopefully that doesn't bankrupt. Doesn't bankrupt him before they do that. They're absolute idiots. Whoever's running DCS is an absolute dick. What an idiot. What idiot would do that? Please check my inverters for RF interference. Oh, I don't really care. unless it's a problem. No, someone else's solar installation's down though. Solar Edge inverter replacement in progress now. Okay, cool. Somebody wanted my prediction on the US election. If it was a real election, that's not rigged, and there's no funny business, which is impossible. It is literally impossible. The US election system is designed to be fraudulent. It's baked into the system. It is designed to be fraudulent. So it's guaranteed there is fraud happening somewhere in the US election system, and has happened in the past. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed by the design of the system. So, yeah. And all the crap that's coming out now about the previous 2020 election in the US is just all these swing states and, Georgia and some other key swing states that they lost. Oh my God, the shit that happened. It's just incredible. Now it's starting to all come out. And some of these, I believe one or two of the states have actually changed their laws as a result, or they were forced to by too much talk about it. Yes, I know Lewis Rossman did a video about DCS. There's been a lot of videos about DCS and I haven't watched them all. So yeah, I just need to sit down and watch a whole ton of videos before I do a video on the DCS situation. Solar in Northern Ireland's not going to work that great, I would imagine. Yeah, yes, so if the US election was genuine, right, let's just say it was like here in Australia, and voting is compulsory, and everyone went out to vote, and it couldn't be, and you don't use electronic voting machines. And well, if you had compulsory voting, then you wouldn't have a problem with the electronic voting machines necessarily anyway, as long as they gave you a paper trail. But anyway, beside that, yeah, why you US citizens allow the use of electronic voting machines is beyond me. Why you aren't out there protesting in the streets to get rid of electronic voting systems, electronic voting machines, is beyond me. It's ridiculous. Anyway, no, we do not have the Electoral College. We have nothing like that here in AU. So prediction continued. If it was genuine election and there was no fraud happening, Trump wins by a country mile, an absolute country mile. So if there's no shenanigans going on, yeah, he wins easily. Without a doubt. But I think my prediction though is either way it goes, right? I'm only if Harrison, what's his name, Waltz or whatever, I don't know what's his name. Anyway, if Harris wins, it's going to be via shenanigans. I'm sorry, there's just not enough anti-Trump votes left to make that a genuine thing. But if Trump wins, I don't know who just came out. One of the US politicians, one of the senator or something, just came out and said that they will not certify the election if Trump wins, no matter what. Walls. Trump against walls. Hilarious. Yeah, it's what was I saying? Where was I? Lost my train of thought. I thought the walls was funny. They are refusing to certify it. They won't certify it. Cities will burn to the ground again because the leftist, extreme leftist whack jobs will burn the cities to the ground if Trump wins. And I think they'll refuse to certify the election. And I don't know if they have that. I don't know how that works. I don't know how, but I'm hearing that's what they plan on doing. Regardless of how it goes, they plan on not certifying the election. And yeah, it's, oh my God. Yep. And the Democrats didn't even vote. They didn't even get a chance to vote for Harris. She was just installed. And so was Harris didn't pick. Harris didn't pick Walls. Harris didn't. All the shit that's coming out about Walls that I'm hearing about. Oh my God. It's almost as if it's all like he's so bad from what I'm hearing. He's such a bad pick that they want her to lose. Somebody. She did not make the pick. She was coerced into picking. Walsh was picked by. She has no power. Let's just say that. Walls. Anyway, yeah. But here, yes, we've got a much better voting system because it's the key to it is compulsory voting. And yes, technically, I can go and vote multiple times, right? I can go to every, my electorate here is rather large, and they've probably got, I don't know, a dozen polling booths, because they're every second street around here. Like every school basically has every second school around here. They actually use the school halls as voting booths and other places. But yeah, we've probably got a dozen. So if I was keen enough, I could actually go around to all of them and mark my name off like 10 times and cast 10 votes. But they are all scanned in. All of the books, the rolls are scanned in. And then I'll get a knock on the door, or well, I should, in theory, get a knock on the door saying, why did you vote 10 times? And then they can see that. And they have that in the data. It's readily available. So, yeah, it's easy to go, right, 10,000 people voted 10 times in this one seat. No, we're rerunning that because of the compulsory voting. So yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. And likewise, I'll get fined if you don't vote here in Australia. You'll get a bill in the mail. You'll get a fine in the mail. I think it's $150 or something, which I did get once. I think it was a state election. I forgot to. We were away on holidays. We just completely forgot about it, and the fine turned up in the mail because I didn't vote. Anyway, so yeah, so yes, and we have no ID here either. We have zero ID. We have zero ID because you don't need it. When you've got a compulsory, hey Jake, when we've got a compulsory roll, you just rock up and say, hey, I'm Dave Jones. You give your address. You have to give your middle name if there's obviously there's multiple David Joneses. But yeah, you just tell them your address. They take your word for it, and they mark you off on the roll. They put a little mark next to it, and all the pages, once they're all loose leaf bound, so they can feed them into the scanner machines later, and they do actually scan them all in, because you will get a fine if you don't vote, and they'll know instantly if you've multiple voted. Or they'll know the next day or next week when they scan them in. They'll know exactly how many people multiple voted. And yeah, so voter fraud is like, I think it's like 0.01% here. I actually calculated it once. You can look at the results. You can go look at the results yourself for your individual seat, and it was like 0.01% or something. Who didn't, or I don't know if the public figures might not be separated by multiple votes, but anyway. Yes, so you can technically do voter fraud here, but it's so insignificant that it's guaranteed not to matter. Guaranteed. Yes, they can do that, Stephen, but they're going with Harris. And no, technically, people already voted for, was it, 8 million people voted for Biden in some sort of pre-thing or something. So yeah, their votes didn't count. Yes, we get fined for not voting, yes. But the benefit of that, you're like, oh, you guys don't have freedom. Okay, yes. Well, we have the freedom not to vote, but you've got to pay $150 fine. I don't know what happens if you don't pay it. But the advantage of that is we have a working election system that has no fraud, basically zero fraud, practically zero fraud, and we don't need ID. Give me that any day. Give me that any day of the week. I like the compulsory voting. It's good. And it means that you can't weasel out of shit. So, if you're talking at the water cooler, oh, I didn't vote, I don't vote. It's like, no, you voted. Yes, you can do a donkey vote. You can do a donkey vote. The levels are about 1% donkey vote in my seat, I think, which is an informal vote. It's classed as an informal vote, but we actually call it a donkey vote. There is nothing ADHD, there is nothing to stop people from saying they are someone else. So all I need is someone's full name and their address. Sometimes they may not ask you for your middle name, so all you need is somebody's full name and their address, and you have to know that they're in your local area. So my neighbours, for example, I could go vote for all my neighbours, right? I could do that, but then it shows up as, and then if they genuinely come along later, right, later in the day, and they go, hi, I'm Joe Blogs at this home address, and it's already marked off, right? Bingo, gotcha. So, so there's nothing to stop me doing that, but it's easily detected because all the voter registration forms are all scanned in. The very next day, they're all scanned in, and the result, or even that same night, they start scanning those things in. And if any of them are matched, or if there's if any of them are double voted, So, yep. So that's why and the other thing is, what would it do, right? What would me voting 10 times do? It's not like I can vote 10,000 times. It's not physically possible. In theory, you could organise 10,000 people secretly to have the names and addresses of 100,000 people, and they go in there and all vote 10 times each. It's possible, but then it would be obvious, and they would cancel the election and they would redo it. Never in the history of this country have we had, that I'm aware of, have we had a re-election in any seat in the country based on fraud, because the fraud is so little. It is so, I'm talking 0.01%. It's so trivial that it's not a thing. It's not a practical concern. So yes, they can. Personally, I could go and vote 10 times. Wizard Tim, they don't scan your license. They have no ability to scan anything. They don't scan. There is no such thing. When you turn up, there is a paper roll. There's a paper roll. It's in a big binder, and they have multiple tables, right? So this is how the election system works in Australia. You turn up to the school hall or whatever, you wait in line. When you're called through, it's very efficient. We never have to wait at all, or 5 minutes tops or something. So you go to, and they've got multiple letters, so A to C or something, and then D to F and something like that. So you just go to the table that has, so it means that the rolls are shorter that way. So you just turn up to your assigned surname, and they have these big open loose binders, so that then they can take them out and scan them into the machines later to automatically check them. And you give them your last name, your first name, and your home address, and it's all in alphabetical order. They scan it. It takes a couple of seconds to 10 seconds or something to flip through the book to find your name, book, mark it off, put a little black mark next to your name, and that's it. Bob's your uncle. They have no ability to scan your license. They have no other machine. There's nothing there. Nothing there to do. But it relies on the fact, the only reason it works is because we have compulsory voting. If you don't have compulsory voting, it doesn't work. You end up like a shit show, like the US and some other countries. Off politics. I think election politics is interesting. Oh, 2024 remake of RoboCop. It was shit. Was it, Kerry? I don't think I've seen it. Maybe I watched like 5 minutes of it. Yeah, I think I might have, and it did look shit. So no thanks. No thanks. You can't be the original. Same with Total Recall. Like I watched the remake of Total Recall once. I don't know when they did that, similar sort of date, 2015 or something. And it wasn't shit, but it was like meh. Why'd you bother? Fun fact, in Northern Ireland the ballots are not anonymous. There's a unique number printed on each ballot, and that number is written down next to your name. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I like the fact that we do not have our ballots. They sign the ballot, so the registrar person who marks you in the book signs the ballot. But there's no way to identify your ballot back to your name, and I like that. So yeah, in theory, if somebody got hold of the original files to print some of those, but our forms are huge, like meter long, right? They're absolutely massive. So if you can sneak 100 of those into, but let's just assume that you could, right? Let's just game this out, assuming that you could print hundreds or thousands of these forms, and then you could secretly, you worked at the local electoral booth or whatever, and while no one was watching, you quickly, opened your backpack and shoved in, 1,000 extra votes, and they were on official looking forms, so when people do the hand counting afterwards, they wouldn't know the difference between a real vote and a fake vote. Okay, you've managed to fool the vote counters, but then you have more votes than you have people registered. They count them. It's literally on the website hours after. There's the actual count of how many they've counted. You'd end up with more than what than the people on the roll. And because it's compulsory, you can't just say, oh, they didn't turn up. It's totally auditable. Everything's totally auditable. Like I said, I think the whole history of Australian politics, we've never had one even seat in the entire country recalled or recast due to fraud. I don't think it's ever happened. Stand to be corrected, but it just doesn't. There's little incentive to do it, and there's no mechanism by which you can get away with it, really. Like, yeah, you can make a 0.01% difference if you try and vote multiple times, but nah. Have we reached peak AI? What do you mean, Tim, by peak AI? Peak AI madness? No, we still don't have the killer app, but I'm using more and more. I'm using ChatGPT. I've got the ChatGPT app on my phone, and I pay the subscription. I don't think you need it anymore, but I don't know, for some reason I'm still paying it. Might get some benefit. And I like talking to it. I like talking to ChatGPT and it giving me an answer back. It doesn't always work, but it's pretty good. In fact, it's very impressive. I was troubleshooting. I was over at my brother-in-law Phil's place, and we were troubleshooting his TV. His dumpster TV had failed. The one I gave him, the big 65-inch one, right? It failed, and we were over there we had the back off. We're troubleshooting, and there's a red flashing light on the power supply, and so I went, like, what the hell does that mean? The power rails were actually tested fine, but there was this red flashing LED on the power supply. So I opened ChatGPT and I gave it the model number. I gave it the model number of the TV, and I said, what does a red flashing power light on the PSU mean? And it came back and said, this means that it actually knew. It knew that this means that the system has detected a power supply anomaly or whatever, and that's why it refuses to start up and display anything on the screen. It actually knew. It was really good. It's really impressive. The only times I heard of vote fraud was during the Howard years from Liberals in Sydney, and it had zero effect on the outcome. Yeah. There's always some tiny amount. You might have some idiot go around and vote 5 times and they go, it's going to make a difference. And as far as I know, some people have been contacted about, like, if your name gets marked off 10 or 100 times, then they do contact you. I do believe the federal police will contact you. But I don't think anyone's ever been charged with voter fraud in this country. I don't think it's a thing, because it's just so insignificant. It just doesn't matter. But technically, yeah. Now, if your name's marked off twice, they might put it down to an error. Like, you wouldn't get a phone call from the feds for that, right? But if your name's marked off on 20 different rolls somewhere, that's not a mistake, right? So you'd probably get a knock on the door from the feds. But it's insignificant. It's nothing. Changes nothing. Maybe if there was that's the thing, and they know this, right? So they know this. So if the result is so close that it comes down to 5 or 10 votes between the two parties, and they've recounted them 5 times, and which happens here. That happens here fairly fair. I think if it's within 2%, they automatically recount them. They automatically hand recount. Well, they're all hand counted anyway. They'll automatically recount them if it's within 1% or 2. If it's over that, they just don't bother. So yeah, very great system we have here. In Queensland, you've got barcodes that all get sent via mail. Oh, well, yeah, the mail system's different. You can actually ask for a form via mail. If you're going to be on holidays, if you're not going to be around to mark it off. But in every polling booth, they also have an ability to do a remote one too. I've never done it, so I don't know how it works. But you can turn up, they have like a table specifically designed for if you're out of town voting or something, they have it set up. And then you probably have to show ID, I would guess. In the UK, your vote can be traced to you. Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Lawrence. I don't like that at all. I don't like that. No way. No way. Anyway, UK's going down the shitter. Sorry to hear, Lawrence, but yeah. I'd be looking to get out of the UK, actually. Voting systems are usually archaic, as they were created hundreds of years ago, which causes the problems. Not necessarily. It's not hard. It's not hard when you make it compulsory. When you make voting compulsory, all the problems go away. It's not when it's compulsory. It's just all the problems just vanish. And just use paper ballots. I don't know why anyone allows electronic voting machines. It's bullshit. Yeah, some of the old effects in movies were incredible, considering the time they were created. Yeah, you look at, I've watched, a lot of old documentaries about, how they did the Terminator special effects, or they did the, special effects in XYZ movie or whatever, and it's all, the ones in Back to the Future and stuff like that. And it's just incredible the amount of effort they went to. Wow, these don't, now it's all just digital and software, and it's like, back then it was just amazing, pioneering stuff. What? Steve? Really? You have different Republican or Democratic ballots? What? Screw that. What the hell kind of hell is that? Kerry goes to the polls to register, you get the anonymous ballot, put a mark on it and box, and to the box it goes. Good to hear that you have a nice paper ballot. The electronic voting machines are bullshit. Man, that is so fraudulent. That's so corrupt. And the reason they have electronic voting machines, name one advantage of electronic voting machines. You can't. There is none. They aren't faster. They aren't faster than hand counting. Demonstrably untrue. They aren't more auditable, demonstrably untrue. They aren't more secure, demonstrably untrue. Massively demonstrably untrue. They've just got no advantage whatsoever except to line the pockets of the couple of big corporations that have the contract. And I guarantee if you follow the money there, you know where it comes from, right? Oh yeah, well, yeah, you have to talk about preferential voting, but but still, the system is the thing that matters. The compulsory aspect makes it very secure here in Australia. What? Baxter? People in Canada, people from the parties come to your house, ask you who you were voting for. Just tell them to piss off. Vote for Donald Duck. Oh, in Queensland you have a voter card, which you have a barcode and it helps you bring your license. Oh, really? You can still vote if you show up with nothing. Oh, okay. That's interesting, Wizard Tim. Yeah, it's frozen. I've never heard of that here. I've never heard of a voter card. Never heard of it. Maybe we do have it and it's possible to get one, but I've never heard about it nor been offered one. So, and I don't see people, when I go to the polling booth, I don't see people handing over a card or handing over a license. Everyone does exactly the same thing as I do. You turn up, give them your name and your address, and Bob's your uncle, and you're out of there. So, but yeah, you aren't forced to vote. You can put an empty ballot. You can just, might be, I don't know what happens if you tear it up and put it in the box. That might be something else, but yeah, it's like you can just fold it up and put it in. You're not allowed to walk out with it. They won't let you walk. I'm not sure what happens. It's like call the cops if you try to walk out with a ballot. But you know, they watch you as you exit, and you've got to put it in the box. But apart from that, you don't have to write anything on. I think they can't do anything. They can't stop you. You can just get the paper from the thing, and you don't even bother going to the booth, and you can just walk straight to the thing and just plonk it in empty, and there's nothing they can do about it. You turned up, you did your thing, you had your name crossed, and that's it. So yes, ChatGPT can hallucinate. Yes, that's one of the things. Yeah. Same with humans, because it's trained on humans, so it hallucinates. People are surprised by this. Don't be surprised that AI in quote marks, hallucinates. It's totally predictable. Yeah. You used to embrace, Baxter used to embrace switch mode power supply failures in TVs as easy repairs. Now you fear them. Yeah, I didn't bother. Like I just told Phil, look, just go and buy a new board for $50. Like, I'm not gonna spend, like, because, you know, we did the basic stuff. We checked for all the visuals. We checked all the rails. All the rails seemed fine, yet it had this red flashing LED on it. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah. So I said, you're better off just going to spend the $50 and going to get a new surplus board and putting that in there and see if it makes a difference. Otherwise, you just waste hours of your time. You know, I'd have to hook up a load to it, and then I'd have to, like, you know, up to the custom connector on it. Like, no, it's just like real pain in the ass stuff, you know. Yeah, it's possible, but it's just not worth your time. Of course, I would do it. I would have repaired it if I measured a voltage that was down. I would have gone, okay, I can trace this. Shouldn't take too long, you know. But all of the rails that I knew of, that it told me about on the silk screen, measured fine. Although the 12-volt rail was like 11.5 or something. But I thought that was, it should have been, I think it was 11 point, I don't know, yeah, something like that. But it certainly wasn't. So I deemed that to be okay. But we didn't hook a scope up to it because we didn't have a suitable diff probe there. You agree, Leroy? The UK is collapsing? Oh, that's interesting, Paul. Do I feel like there has been a decline in the quality of politicians these days? Don't think so. I think they're all the same. I've been on this planet for a long time. I've seen a lot of politicians. I don't think they're degraded. I think they're the same as always. Hey, Toronto. Jake says, I don't like accountability when it comes to voting. That's not the point. I don't want traceability. Voting should be anonymous. The government should have no ability to determine who you voted for, because then you open yourself up to persecution. No way. No way. I am pro fucking freedom. Big time. No, and that includes my vote is private. My vote is private. Otherwise, why bother having the walls in between the voting booths? Right? No. Piss off. Piss off, government. You will not know who I voted for. Screw you. No, that's bad. No, it's got nothing to do with like accountability. The accountability is that I voted. The accountability is that I am for a compulsory, I support a compulsory voting system. I fully support, as much as I am a freedom nut, okay, I think there are so many advantages to a so to speak, accountable compulsory voting system. But that stops at who I voted for. That absolutely stops right there. Yeah, Adam Savage has a good channel. Yeah, it's great. It's really good. He's killing it. He's absolutely killing it. So much good stuff on Adam Savage. Sagan likes Adam Savage's channel as well. Umar retracted his message. I didn't see what it was. Saw a documentary recently about how Mary Poppins was made, and that had some exceedingly... Oh, interesting. Okay. Leroy? Mary Poppins. All I think of now when I think of Mary Poppins is the Star Wars. Princess Leia doing the Mary Poppins thing. Oh my god, so bad. So bad. No, I don't. You can abstain. You can abstain by doing a donkey vote. You don't have to vote for anyone. So you can abstain that way. No, I wouldn't like an option where you actually, you know, could formally abstain and then a million people do it. Because it's all about the culture too. It's all about, you know, we have a compulsory voting culture, so to speak. Where where 99.9% of people go, oh yeah, okay, let's go down and vote. Let's, do this thing. Let's have a, sausage sanger down there, and yep, it's actually quite a social thing here. It's quite a social thing. I just watched a Garfish. I just watched an interesting video. Sorry, I don't remember who did it, about why 80s and 90s movies look different. And it was just, it was all about the, the film stock used and the color grading and the lighting and the lenses used and all sorts of things. It was really interesting. I can't remember who did it though. It was fascinating. Fascinating watch. Hey, Paul Daniel's in the house, everyone. Yeah, Cosmic Cat, electronic voting is bullshit. Only a fool would think it's not. Andre, you went to JCAR today. Awesome, Caps, and they knew who I was. There you go. They've still got people who work there who know electronics and watch me. My local J car they don't know me, and I go in there. Although, well, they haven't for a while. A few years back, there was somebody in there who actually knew me, but since then, my local J car doesn't have anyone who knows me, or they don't have when I turn up anyway. Terminator 2 special effects, timeless, yeah. Diebold has entered the chat. Who or what is Diebold? To silence me. Oh yeah, and the other thing we don't have here, for you Yanks, we don't have like this, you're a registered Democrat or you're a registered Republican. There's no such thing here as being a registered Labor or a registered Liberal. No such thing. It doesn't exist. It's weird to me. And I believe in the US you can find out. You can search a public database to see who is, you know, formally registered to who. It's crazy. It just sows social division. That's why the US is so off its rocker. Benjamin Fairhill, you're not thinking of the sodium light screen, yellow screen? Well, was there something in there about... There was something in there about sodium lights, I think, but I'm not sure if that was the main focus of it. The name doesn't... Benjamin Fairhill doesn't ring a... Fairhall doesn't ring a bell. I can't remember who it was, but I'm sure there's more than one video that's like that out there. Yeah, Jake, I don't know why you guys put up with that. I just heard today that in one of the states, can't remember who it was it Georgia? They literally refused when they were ordered to, by, I don't know, maybe a court or something, or somebody, they refused to remove, like, it was like 10,000 illegal non-registered voters or something. Actually refused to remove them. The election officials refused. They knew, they actually did via some auditing thing, they knew that they had, you know, tens of thousands, I think it was, of illegal voters. They know their names, and they refused to remove them from the electoral roll, which is against state law apparently. It's ridiculous. That's what I heard. That's just nuts. That's just nuts. Yeah, the US, if you think that the US election system is not fraudulent, you are either grossly ill-informed or you're just an idiot. You are brainwashed, you are delusional. It's unbelievable. This US system is designed to be fraudulent. Designed to. It's baked into the system. Australia's record... Oh, have we got a record medal tally, have we? It's due to us riding out the pandemic better than some other countries. No, I wouldn't say that, Paul. We're just pretty good at sport. And we do put a lot of money into it. Our Australian Institute of Sport is pretty top-notch. I saw a doco on it recently, forget the details. It's extremely clever as the light they used was specific and narrow band. Right. Oh, sorry, Benjamin Fairhall's in the chat here. It's not the... Right, okay. Yeah, I think they mentioned that in the thing doco I watched. It was really good. Yeah, I'm worried for the UK as well, Benjamin. Unfortunately, I think it's gone. I think it's too far gone. I think the numbers are too great. The numbers of legal immigrants are too great. And you might be able to change it if you changed radically the immigration policy now, but it'd have to include deportation. Like, there's entire towns in England that are gone. They're no longer English. They're just gone. It's interesting that Australia we have record immigration here, absolute record immigration, but we don't have illegal immigration. So we have, you know, like people who pay to come here, which is kind of different. But although we do take asylum seekers, but it's pretty small numbers. But we don't have issues with towns, like entire towns or entire cities just going to the dogs. It just doesn't happen here. So yeah, unfortunately that's happening in the UK. So didn't the union guys just had elections in the UK and they voted back in the Labour Party for the next 3-4 years or something? You're screwed. I don't think you've got 3-4 years. So yeah, wouldn't surprise me if Nigel Farage gets elected. If he's not PM within the next 10 years, I'll be pretty surprised. Yeah, but unfortunately, you just had your elections, and he's now an MP, but he isn't anything more than that. But I suspect he'll eventually become PM, and then things might change. But otherwise, nope. Yeah, switchway power supplies were great when it was a filter cap. Now it's got power factor correction and LED drivers. Yeah, it's got tons of stuff on there. And this one has like a micro on it. I don't know where the flashing LED comes from. We didn't physically take out the board and check on the other side, but I was looking, like there wasn't any data lines coming back from the main processor board, so I assume there's a little micro on the reverse, because it was only a single-sided board, so there's obviously surface mount devices on the backside. I assume there's some little micro there that detects something and it flashes this LED on the front. So yeah, and it gave 5 flashes, I think it was. Yeah, 5 actual flashes, and ChatGPT told me that was an error. Yeah, that was an error code for the power supply. So yep. Yes, I agree. Holco, bad things happen when the government knows who you voted for. Yeah. The biggest problem with voting in Australia is the deceptive how to vote cards in foreign language in the AEC colour scheme. Ah, right. Interesting, yeah. Good evening, Malta Murchie. Filming with a sodium vapor light and a camera with a very unique prism. Only 3 such prisms were ever made by Disney. Oh, really? And they're all lost. That's interesting. Okay, that's fascinating. Yeah, so if you search YouTube for why videos look different in the 1980s or something like that, or could have been the 90s, no, 80s I think. Yeah, I thought that was really good. Lol, astronauts that went up on Starliner might not be able to make it back till February. Yeah, just heard about that today. Holy crap. Yeah, and I heard something, but I haven't looked into it, that they don't have the automated software to even bring it back fully automated. It needs the astronauts to bring it back. And it's like I heard that they didn't finish that part of the software or something. I find that hard to believe, but I don't know. I don't know the details, but yeah, that's pretty shit house. Yeah, so they might send up Crew 9, SpaceX Crew 9 might only be 2 people, so that they have room for 4 to bring back the other 2 in February. Oof. Oh man, Boeing's, what a shit show. As if Boeing couldn't get any worse publicity than that. Oh boy, get the democracy sausage. Have you done or can you do a video on hooking a small DC motor, brush motor to a power supply and avoiding damage from the flyback current? No, I haven't. I've mentioned that somewhere in some video, like maybe it was the co-rad power supply failure video, maybe? Not sure. Kerry did a donkey vote in 2005 and not a single time from then on. I probably missed the local government elections. No. Oh, Rumby. Oh, a donkey vote is, well, you can call it whatever you want, informal, invalid. You can put nothing. You can mark nothing on it. You can draw a big dick and balls on the paper. You don't have to number the boxes. But yeah, I think technically they might call a donkey vote. You know, people who just randomly number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But it, you know, informally, a donkey vote is just a. It's just invalid. It's an informal vote. Yeah, that is not. Yeah, a formal vote is where you number the boxes that you're supposed to, but you just number in some random bullshit order that you don't care about. Yeah, that's a formal vote. One of your mates used to write Harold Holt on his voting paper. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Harold Holt. For those who don't know, Australia. I believe this is the only time in world history, in recent world history, this has happened. But Australia's, we had our Prime Minister was called Harold Holt, and he went for a swim at the beach, and he never came back. He just vanished. Our Prime Minister, completely vanished. And apparently there were a couple of coppers there on the cliff watching him or something. I don't know. He just never came back. Never came back. And there were all these conspiracy theories about like a Japanese sub took him. It's great. Oh man. Ah yes, the Corridor Crew videos. Haven't watched one of their videos in a long time. Do you know why they call it a kingdom? Because it's ruled by a king. And why do they call it an empire? Because it's ruled by an emperor. So why do they call it a country? I like that. Diebold is a massive corp that oversees a lot of the electronic voting, and you're, oh, okay, right. Thank you, Paul. Diebold. Right, they make voting machines and ATMs. Okay, interesting. I think I'm way behind on the chat. Shout out to Scott Hawthorne, the creator of horror game that was popular with kids, being cancelled because he don't know what? Unbelievable. Only in America. Absolute bullshit. Although now things have changed. Didn't that happen recently? Did that happen recently? Someone got cancelled because they donated to the Trump campaign. I can't. That's so nothing. It's really hard to get cancelled for being a Trump supporter now. The tide has turned significantly. Tide has turned a lot. Oh, I think I'm done. We're done. Sorry, got to go. We're done. Sorry. Do you like Albanese? No, it's just another dickhead politician. Catch you next time.